Well, hello everyone and welcome to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be talking about the best movies of 2023. Yeah, I know I'm a bit late to the party, but who gives a shit? 2023 was a very interesting year. You got like big blockbusters. We also have some good like smaller movies and also some good animation as well. There's been lots of good smaller animations. Smaller? No, there's a quite a big one in here, but forget what I said. And just a disclaimer, I haven't seen like every movie of 2023, so I'm sorry if one of them isn't on the list. Sorry. Let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. So first up, I want to get into some honorable mentions because there were a ton of movies this year, but Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Sisu, Past Lives, really enjoyed that one. Bottoms, that was a surprise. Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That's an underrated movie in my opinion. Not a lot of people are loving this movie, and it's getting ignored. But I actually really enjoyed that movie, and it's like one of Hunger Games movie. The Hunger Games franchise doesn't have a lot of great movies because the first one was okay. Catching Fire was a masterpiece, awesome, and then the last two Mockingjay movies were kind of shit, I guess. And then you have Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so that makes only two good Hunger Games movies. So, and Suzume. I don't even know if I'm like staring into the lens or into the little camera monitor thing. I'm trying to look at the lens. So first up on the list we have Barbie. Now Barbie is one of the biggest movies of 2023. Barbie is a very interesting movie, and Margot Robbie gives a great performance. So does Ryan Gosling. The music is awesome. The practical sets, the great music that's put throughout the entire movie. You know, I enjoyed myself while watching this movie. I've seen it like 2 times now. And yeah, it's a good time. Next up on the list, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Now, in the recent state of the MCU, it's been really hit and miss. And Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a hit because it's actually like something that stands out among the MCU right now. And it's one that has actually like emotion, surprisingly. And you don't really expect that in the MCU nowadays anyway. And you can actually tell that James Gunn had full creative control with this movie, unlike, you know, Ant-Man, Quantumania, or the Marvels, which was okay, I guess. But you can tell, like, in those movies, Marvel had their hands in those movies. But you can tell that Guardians 3, James Gunn this is his movie. This is not Marvel's movie. This is James Gunn's movie. And it paid off. Coming in at number 8, we have Air, directed by Ben Affleck, starring Matt Damon. Yeah, it's great to see these two working together again. This is one of those really fun, enjoyable, true story, comedy, drama movies. And this movie, what I really love about this movie is how it really makes you feel like you are in this era. You are part of the 80s, the costumes, the sets, even the wonderful soundtrack as well. It really puts you into that era. But honestly, this is a really fun movie, and I really love Ben Affleck as a director. One of my favorite movies ever is The Town, so of course I'm going to follow whatever this guy directs these days. Coming in at number 7, we have Creed 3. Now, this is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. Saw this like back in like March, I think. So yeah, it's been a while, but I remember seeing it for the first time and I was amazed by Michael B. Jordan's directing, and his directing style is really cool actually. I know in my review I remember saying that this was the best Creed movie, but upon rewatch I don't think that. But in terms of the visual style, this is the one that stands out to me among the 3 movies. In terms of the directing, the style, and everything, this one really stands out, and especially with Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. But there's something about the colors, the way he chooses the camera, the shots, and everything. But yeah, in terms of story, it's not the most original, but I do feel like there was some real conflict between the two fighters. It wasn't just, oh, let's have a match and see who's winning. There was actually some emotional connection going on there. So yeah. Coming in at number 6, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And this was an astounding movie, a visual masterpiece. The animation style, so good, but also the story, really impactful. I remember when this movie finished, I was like, whoa, that was really something. And I didn't really expect it to be like a, you know, ending on a cliffhanger. But yeah, we'll see how it goes with part 3, I guess. Coming in at number 5 is probably a movie that you've never heard about, but the movie is called Rue, and this is a French-Canadian movie, and it's not released anywhere else. I think it's only released in Canada right now, but it's a really good movie actually. I really enjoyed this movie. So this movie was shot in my hometown, and the movie revolves around Vietnamese immigrants, and this is basically my parents' story. So I couldn't help but feel a sense of relatability to this movie. But also, this movie is very well shot, and every scene is engaging. Honestly, it's a very powerful movie. A bit of flaws here and there in terms of the script with the ending and how it paid off, but other than that, this is a really hard hitting movie, and I definitely recommend it. If it ever comes out on streaming, physical media, whatever, definitely watch it when you can. Coming in at number 4, we have The Killer, directed by David Fincher. This is a very well directed movie. I mean, obviously, David Fincher, come on. It's one of those movies where you're really fascinated with our main character, played by Michael Fassbender, who gives an incredible performance. In terms of the camera work, they pulled off some really interesting shots here. A lot of stuff to do with focusing, really like the blur in the background stuff. There's some really interesting shots here. The story is basically not what I expected it to be, but there is something really fascinating about this movie. Just Michael Fassbender's character, the killer, and just his behavior, and it was so cool to see him do things.
No, I just do things.
Coming in at number 3, we have The Holdovers. Now, this is one of the best movies of the year. I really, really, really love this movie. It kind of reminds me of movies like Manchester by the Sea or The Descendants, directed by Alexander Payne, where the location, the music really immerses you into the world of this movie. But not only that, but the dialogue feels so natural and real, and it makes you feel like you're just there with them, and it's not like you're watching a movie at all. It's just people, and you're just invested. The dialogue is engaging, and it's funny and sad at the same time, and that's what makes this movie so great. Coming in at number 2, we have John Wick Chapter 4. It's so crazy how every freaking John Wick movie just gets better and better and better, not only in terms of the action, but the look of this movie, the shots, the colors, they are so vibrant. It's insane. Like, there were so many times when I was watching this, I was like, how did they pull this off? You have the staircase sequence, you got the car chase around the thing in Paris. Amazing stuff. Like, sometimes you walk out of an action movie and you don't even remember the action scenes, but this, I remember every single one of them and how iconic they are. Well, here it is, the number 1 movie of the year. Here it is. It's Oppenheimer. When it comes to my number 1 movies, I think about the movie that really stays with me and the movie that kind of like was an experience, and I go through like a phase with it, like, for example, last year with Top Gun Maverick, I saw that movie like 4 times in the theater and then proceeded to watch it like 14 more times after that. I was listening to the soundtrack, had the glasses and everything. That was a big phase. And I wouldn't say I'm going through the same thing with Oppenheimer, but it is a movie that really sticks with you and it stays with you and you keep thinking about it, about how amazing it is. And of course, Christopher Nolan, he's my favorite director. So, and what I do like about this movie, that it doesn't feel like, yes, it's a biopic, but it doesn't feel like a typical biopic. It's very much a Chris Nolan movie. It doesn't feel like it's trying to win awards or anything. It's very much just a Christopher Nolan movie, just as much as any other Christopher Nolan movie, but it's just a biopic this time. I feel like everybody that was involved in this movie were on their A game. You got all the actors, Cillian Murphy. You even have the cinematography by Hoyte van Hoytema, the score by Ludwig Göransson. Like, everybody was just so good. Even just 2 days ago, I was listening to the score, so that just proves how much, this movie is still sticking with me to this day, It's interesting because this movie, I remember in my review I gave it a 9 out of 10, and that still stands. And that means I haven't given a 10 out of 10 movie during the entire year. Yeah, it's just what it is. It happens sometimes, but there was not really that movie that was really, really, really perfect. Like last year with Top Gun Maverick, The Batman. Yeah, those were the only ones. But still a great year for movies in 2023. So what were your favorite movies of the year? Let me know in the comments, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.